Dan Hooker will be taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, as that was announced at UFC 323, amongst other fights happening over the next couple of months. Alex Pereira has stated that he wants to fight either John Jones or for the heavyweight title at the White House, and he may get his wish. And Jamal Hill has some pretty unsavory words to say for Joanna Jacek behind the scenes, as a video is captured with him threatening the former UFC champion. People, it's MMA Monday Live. Sit back, relax. Let's get into this. Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome to the show. Please do smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Big up to Martin in the chat. Shout out to Scans, Aquia, Trigger Rich, even though I don't know if you are even a Liverpool fan, Trigger Rich, but I'll take you at face value. People, it is MMA Monday Live, and we have some stuff to talk about, starting with some of the announcements that were made at UFC 323 as it pertains to some mega fights coming up. Mega's maybe might be not the right word, actually. Some very good competitive fights coming up. So firstly, we have Dan Hooker taking on Benoit Saint-Denis on January 31st at UFC 325, a massive fight in the lightweight division. Very quick turnaround for Dan Hooker, if I'm going to be honest. Only recently fought Arman Sarukian and lost. I don't know if this is a wise move, personally. Benoit Saint-Denis also fought pretty not that long ago, but he had a 1-round fight which lasted all of 16 seconds. Barely got touched in that fight, barely got hurt. So I don't know if I like this match for Dan Hooker, but it's number 6 versus 8, very competitive fight, and will be an exciting fight. Both men love to fight, love to have a scrap, and always put on good shows. We also have Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Hufi, also another lightweight bout on the same card. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I love this fight. In my personal opinion, I think Fiziev should try and go down in weight to 145. I think he'd potentially be champion in that division. But he still wants to stay at 55, and this is a very, very fun fight. Mauricio Hufi's last outing was against Benoit Saint-Denis, where he was grappled and taken down and beaten up on the ground and then submitted. However, we know on the feet he can produce some moments of magic. You only have to look at his roundhouse kick against Bobby Green, but then Rafael Fiziev, a wizard on the feet as well. You only have to look at his roundhouse kick finish against Brad Riddell. This could potentially steal the show, this fight. This could be fight of the night. And look, if Rafael Fiziev is able to knock back the challenge of Mauricio Hufi, then it will be massive for him. But if Hufi is able to win this fight, it could really catapult him onto bigger and better things in the division. And it could be the start of a shake-up in this division as well. This division has been gate-kept by some big names such as Poirier, who's now retired, Gaethje, who's going to be fighting for an interim belt against Paddy, Charles Oliveira. Could be starting to see the changing of a guard here. So very interested to see those two fights. Also on the same card, Tai Tuivasa going up against Talison Teixeira. I think this is a terrible matchup for Tai Tuivasa. I know it's in his hometown, but terrible matchup, man. Talison Teixeira is so rangy and he uses his boxing so well, and Tai Tuivasa hasn't enjoyed the best of times recently, so don't know how that one goes. And then also Jimmy Crute versus Jacoby should be a very good fun stand-up fight, that one as well. So some very good fights for the Sydney card, UFC 325, where Volk will be defending his belt against the for the second time against Diego Lopez. So very interesting. Speaking of the lightweight division, I'm gonna make a video on this probably because I do think this needs to go into more detail. But I want to share a video right now, and it's about Dana White, and he's speaking about the Arman Sarukian situation. And one of the reporters actually asked, "Why is Sarukian not getting a title shot? Why is he not in contention?" And the answer, I just don't know what to say, man. I genuinely am lost for words with some of the things Dana White does. But here's what he had to say.
He's got Arman Sarukian, obviously the odd man out now. We expect Ilya to be unifying against the interim title winner, which would, make a long runway for his
I wouldn't say that he's the odd man out. He had an opportunity, and you guys know how that played out, and he's gonna have to work his way back. I don't give a shit what the number says. He's gonna have to work his way back. There's just too much goes into this for those type of things to happen. We had a little. We were talking back in my room tonight, and we were talking about all the crazy shit that's happened over the last 20-something years. But you can't do that. You can't get the opportunity, and then you can't end that way. So he's got to work his way back.
So the message is take the next fight you offer him, obviously.
No, I mean, he obviously he knows what's going on. I don't give a shit what everybody else says. He knows what's going on, and he's got to work his way back to that title.
I gotta be honest, man. Like, Liao, you're saying you agree with Dana here. All right. So the first thing is he's saying he's not the odd man out. I'm gonna read the UFC rankings, and you tell me if he's not the odd man out right now in a lightweight division. So Topuria is the champion, but he's on the shelf at the moment. He's not going to be competing for a while. Then you've got Sarukian. So Topuria, no. Oliveira is fighting Max Holloway, so can't fight number 2 or number 3. Gaethje's fighting Paddy Pimblett, can't fight number 4 or number 5. Hooker's now been matched up with with Benoit Saint-Denis, so that's number 6 and number 8. And then Fiziev has been matched up with Mauricio Hufi, which is number 9 and number 14. Grant Dawson fought literally at the weekend, so that's number 13. Beneil Dariush, Moicano, Chandler, and Mateus Gamrot are the only available options. A win against Chandler does nothing, and Chandler's not going to take that fight because he's waiting for the McGregor fight, so rule Chandler out as well. And then Beneil Dariush, he might take the fight. In fact, no, he's not going to fight Dariush again. He's knocked Dariush out. So that's another person. So you're telling me the only option he has in that division is against Mateus Gamrot. I mean, if that's not the odd man out here, I don't know what is. I genuinely, like, out of the top 15 in the division, including the champion, so no to Ilya Topuria. Oliveira and Holloway booked up. Gaethje and Pimblett booked up. Again, I don't know how Pimblett is ranked number 5, considering he's only beaten Chandler. But we know what the UFC is trying to do there. They're trying to save face because you can't book an interim title fight between number 4 and number 8. So Paddy's rating has gone up. Hooker's booked in a fight of Ben BSD. So you're telling me is Moicano or Gamrot? If he goes out there and beats Moicano, it does nothing for him. If he goes out there and beats Gamrot, it does nothing for him. Gamrot's, if I'm not mistaken, he lost against Hooker and then lost against Oliveira. So he's coming off a 2-fight loss streak. Moicano, I think, is the same, coming off 2 back-to-back losses. So how is he not the odd man out? Like, come on, how is he not the odd man out? And then you say you don't care about the number. So why is there a ranking system then? Like, it just makes no sense. But look, I'm going to go into a bit of a deeper dive on that in a separate video. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But crazy. Also, speaking about the UFC 323, obviously we saw the horrific injury that happened to Pantoja. He spoke about said injury. How can you not love this guy? I'm going to play his video now as well, because he had some stuff to say after UFC 323 after losing his belt in such horrible fashion.
Hello, guys. That's what happened, accidents. Uh, when I go to the UFC today, I think I'm having my best shape of my life. When I see Josh Evan out the other side of the octagon, I believe I can finish him in the first round. That's what I try to do. Best camp of my life, best catch weight, best everything. I feel so comfortable in the octagon. That's my octagon. That's my belt. That's everything I did in my life, in my whole life to that moment. And I just Joshua just came and win this belt. I talked with my wife about that. Like, it's not just about myself today. It's about Joshua. Joshua, that's his destiny to win this belt tonight, and he just can win this belt with my injury today. And I talk with God. God gives him the message, and I really believe in God and all the message. I pray a lot, and I want to work very hard. I work out very hard all my life, and I'm gonna work again, and I'm gonna take my belt again. I really appreciate all the message. Everybody know about myself. Everybody understand. I very respectful guy. I respect first my family, then everything. I'm never gonna say bullshit about anyone. I just want to work very hard and bring my belt to my home again. Appreciate everybody. Tomorrow, fly back to home. Monday, I'm start to follow my dream again. Thank you so much.
What a legend. I don't know how you can hate on Pantoja, man. Horrible injury, and a horrible way to lose the belt as well for him. He was really chasing greatness and starting to hunt down DJ and his record. Whether he'd have got there or not remains to be seen, but really sad state of affairs. But again, really promising words from him. Hopefully the injury is not requiring surgery and he's able to rehab it back. But it will be some months before he's back in there. And it's, again, just a real shame, man. Real shame. For me, he didn't deserve that. But this is the game, man. This is the game where things can happen. On to the next topic. Alex Poetan Pereira has spoken. And he's thrown down the gauntlet, guys, if you ask me. So I'm going to read his quotes. This is via a publication called Omelette. I mentioned the White House against John Jones, and I've also even spoken about a fight heavyweight for a third belt. Short and sweet statement. Given the situation with Tom Aspinall at the moment, I said this, I wouldn't be massively surprised if the UFC go in a direction where they give a fight to Alex Pereira and Cyril Gane for an interim belt. Now, again, it'd be another interim belt, it'd be another fight for a disputed belt. But for Alex, if he is able to win that fight, it sets up a mega fight with Tom Aspinall. Now, the other factor in this is John Jones. And this is where Alex Pereira might have to make a decision, because if Tom Aspinall is unable to compete for the foreseeable future, now granted the White House card is 6 months away, so maybe, just maybe, they hold off for now. But I think if he's given the option between fighting John Jones at the White House for no belt or Tom Aspinall or Cyril Gane for the belt, I don't know which option he picks. Because I do think that heavyweight title fight is there for him, regardless of losing to John Jones. I think he's one win away from fighting for the heavyweight title. He could go up, fight someone, win, and then he gets the shot, because he's such a big name and he's done so much in the sport and so much for the organization. But I think a lot depends on Tom as well. Because if Tom is able, let's say Tom's able to fight in February, then you get a definitive answer, and then either him or Cyril Gane, then you know who's going to be available for the White House potentially, and then you can go from there. But as of right now, I think it's up in the air. But it also puts a bit of spanner in the work, because what does that do for his light heavyweight title reign? I mean, him versus Carlos Ulberg. We're waiting for that to be confirmed and for the date for that and all of that. But does he wait for that fight? Does he hold off? Does Yuri step in and fight Carlos Ulberg for the vacant belt or for an interim? A lot of moving parts there, but I'm very, very Mantis. No. I'd never make a joke out of Tom's eye. I love Tom Aspinall, man. That's my guy. But yeah, very interesting to see what happens there. And yeah, I'd love to see heavyweight Alex Pereira. I'd love to see him fight against Tom Aspinall. I think that'd be a massive fight. I think I'd favor Tom Aspinall in the fight, but be a massive fight. I'd love to watch that fight. And now onto the final topic, guys, and it's a bit of a mad one, this one. I'll tell you how I feel about it, but I'm just going to play the video. And again, want to be clear, don't know the context behind it, just seeing this video online, which has been circulating. But it's to do with Jamal Hill. To do with Jamal Hill and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who had a back and forth altercation at UFC 323. And this is what happened, and this is what was said by Jamal Hill. So, again, Joanna seems to be being held back by security. Jamal Hill is standing what seems to be in front of his partner. I don't know if it's his wife, but either way, it's his partner, right? And I don't know what's caused the altercation. I don't know what's happened, but Joanna is clearly annoyed. And Jamal Hill states, if you touch my girl, I'm going to knock you the F out. Oh, this one's a bit of a tricky one. So, look, as a man, I'm always going to protect my wife. I can't see myself hitting a woman, though, if they threaten my wife. I can't. I don't know how that makes me seem. You guys can be the judge of that. Would I restrain her? Yes. Would I remove my wife from the situation? Would I make sure my wife doesn't get hit? Would I take a punch or a kick for my wife? Yes, I would. But to ball up my fist and punch a woman in the face so hard that I'd knock her out, I don't see myself doing that. I do not see myself doing that. Like, it would have to be a life or death situation for me to do something like that. Jamal Hill is a light heavyweight who walks around at heavyweight. Joanna Jędrzejczyk fought at 115 pounds. Is she a trained fighter? Yes, but guess what? So is Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill can absolutely restrain Joanna. Absolutely restrain Joanna. To threaten her like that, it don't sit right. It don't sit right with me. I'm not gonna lie. And again, I don't know what's happened in the lead up to this. I don't know if Joanna has instigated it. I don't know if Jamal Hill's instigated it. I don't know if Jamal Hill's partners instigated it. But I'm sorry, man. You cannot, as a UFC fighter, be threatening to punch a woman and knock a woman out. I'm sorry, man. And as I said, it has to be life or death. Like, she has to be about to attack you with a weapon or something deadly. It has to be life or death for me to sit here and go, okay, I see why you did that. But come on, man. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. And that's not a good look from Jamal Hill. Again, I'm sure more of the story will come out. Jamal Hill's got a YouTube channel as well, so I'm sure he'll probably speak about it and clear that up. But it's not cool. Big up to Josh. I haven't spoken about this. Strickland versus Hernandez. Brilliant fight. This fight for me would potentially... Look, if Strickland wins, I don't know if Strickland gets another title shot. Maybe he does, because he might talk his way into it. But if Fluffy Hernandez wins, I think he gets the title shot. The problem is, though, Hamzat is injured at the moment. So I don't know what happens there. But yeah, I'm hoping Fluffy Hernandez wins. I'm a big Hernandez fan, and he's been on a tear recently. So if it's going to be a battle of the pressure, like Strickland's forward pressure is one of the best in the UFC. But so is Fluffy's forward pressure as well, with his grappling, his wrestling, his non-stop action. He almost reminds me of a smaller version of what Cain Velasquez used to be. Fluffy Hernandez just drowns people. Big up yourself, Martin says, an interim title makes 0 sense. If Garn and Pereira happen and Pereira wins, does that mean Garn is the real champ? Because he was winning against Tom. Tom and Garn was getting competitive. Bro, I hear you. I'm not saying what I think should. I'm not saying what I think should happen. I'm saying what I think might happen. Mantis. Cal, you know, Masvidal trains at ATT. I think George can sleep Jamal. I don't think so. There's weight classes for a reason, bro. Jamal Hill outweighs Masvidal probably by about 50, 60 pounds. And Jamal Hill hits hard. I don't know, man. We've seen Jamal Hill get dropped by Yuri and Pereira and Khalil Roundtree. They're some of the hardest fighters going. So yeah, Josh, they haven't announced Chimaev versus Imavov yet, only because Chimaev's injured and we don't know the timeline on that. So yeah, we'll see. But look, people, I'm gonna wrap up there. As you guys know, I'm on Hassam's channel at the show starts at midday. I've got to do a few things before I jump on the show, so I'm gonna be there a bit late, but I will be there. You know what, Mantis, Martin, you're right. Yoel Romero could definitely knock out Jamal Hill. That is facts. That is facts. So yeah, maybe Jamal wants to keep himself to himself, but I reckon these guys behind the scenes will probably talk and iron it out. I hope they do, because it shouldn't have got to that stage. But yes, people, do smash the like button if you haven't already. On the road to 8,000 subscribers, would love to get there by the end of the year. So please help along with that if you can, and share the video as well, please, people, with anyone that you know is an MMA fan as well. People, as always, it's a pleasure speaking and conversating with you guys. Do smash the like button on your way out. Until I see you again, people. Thanks very much for watching and listening. It's been the Sanderson Show, man. How you go? Take care.